The next applicant is District Harbor. Are they present?
Yes, we are. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, honorable members of the City Commission, City Clerk, and City Manager, and related community members. My name is Eric Foster. I'm with Banks and Company. We are the policy and operations consultant to District Harbor, and we have here the two owner applicants for District Harbor. I'll let them introduce themselves and give background, and then we'll talk about highlights from the application that we've submitted, background on some of the things that we have done in terms of entering into strong, proactive partnerships and relationships in communities, and would love to extend here in the harbor, and work that we're doing with the NAACP in our different operating locations that can be also applied here in Benton Harbor. So first I'll turn it over to Greg and Jason.
Hello, my name is Jared Sineshdak. I'm 27 years old. I was born in Michigan. About 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I met Jason. We decided to get involved in the cannabis industry together. Currently, we have about 6-7 projects throughout the state approved municipally. We're also approved through the state, pre-qualified, and operating 2 dispensaries in Michigan. One of them is in Bay City, and one of them is in Detroit. I currently own a company called Ash Inc. We are a wholesale distribution company for the cannabis industry and the smoke shop industry. We supply about 10,000 stores throughout the country. 8,000 of those are through different distributors, and 2,000 of them are through directly to them. Last year, we got 58th fastest growing company in the country. We currently employ about 50 people. And Jason here also employs about 400 people. I have other ventures also that we employ. So altogether, we employ about 500 people altogether. I'm going to turn it over to Jason.
Good evening, and thank you for taking the time. My name is Jason Navro, one of the applicants. Speak on to George. We have approvals in Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Mount Pleasant, Mount Morris, Flint, Detroit, Bay City, and several applications throughout the state as well. I'm in the wireless industry. We have almost Sprint metros throughout the Midwest. So we have them in, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Holland, Battle Creek, all the way to Detroit, Lansing, and throughout the state. So live in Michigan, lived in Grand Rapids for 15 years, moved back. Now I live in Detroit suburbs. The location that we're submitting is a 53 wall. It's a closed down building right now. It was a call center. Previously it was a bank. Now it was a call center, and now it's shut down. So we have it under contract. So hopefully for one of the 4 applicants that do get approved, we would be ready to start construction right away. We do have, Mayor, I know you asked a couple of applicants, how fast would it be? We have full set of drawings done. So as long as the city approves it, it wouldn't take us more than 90 to 120 days to open up. So I'm gonna turn it over to Eric and let him talk a little more. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jared. And just to tell you a little bit from key highlights from the application, District Harbor plans to employ a minimum of 12 to 20 employees and will work proactively to hire from Benton Harbor with respect to the pool of individuals that work in the managerial, entry-level, and mid-tier positions. The base level salary range for positions will start at $15 per hour, and then salaries will escalate depending upon the level of responsibility and duty. And these will be full-time positions, which one of the things that the state requires and encourages is for the licensees to not have 1099 employees or part-time or contractual employees or temporary employees, but to have permanent employees. So we work to strive to be in compliance with the state rules in statute and in administrative rules. We also will work with the staff to train them on not just customer service and engagement, but also on the health outcomes and health impacts of the commercial medical marijuana products, how it impacts various health conditions. And as a part of our application in talking about the patient education handbook, we'll actually publish a handbook that will be helpful to patients to help them see and understand what applications of the various products can be applied to impact and address specific health needs. One thing that we have of value in the industry is the fact that certain states such as Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, California, Colorado, Maryland do and have codified medical marijuana research in their state statutes, so that the universities are working with licensees and doing studies to help improve the quality of products for health outcomes. And we'll rely on a lot of that information to help educate patients that will come to District Harbor for those particular services. And then also work with organizations in the community to help broaden the reach of information and knowledge. The important thing is not to do everything self-contained inside of the four corners of our location, but is to reach out and reach in to all of the different neighborhoods and all of the different organizations as much as humanly possible to build that flow of communication. A few other things that we will relate to is in the security plan, because the state and through your local ordinance have specific requirements and details for video surveillance, for security of facility, for security guards, and it is compliant with state process. We will meet those, but we will also take a proactive approach of working with the local police department and community organizations on activities such as substance abuse prevention, diversion. The video surveillance feeds have to be linked in per state statute and administrative rules to the local police and the state police. So there's that constant stream of information, which could be helpful in helping to not only deter any criminal activity near the facility, but then also to help the police department proactively pursue those who may not affect our facility, but affect a neighboring facility or neighboring business or neighboring property, so that we can help be a part of cutting down on criminal activity and incidents in the city. A few other things that we will focus on in respect of working with Benton Harbor, if we're able to be approved, is to not just look at the opportunities to meet in a tangential way, community impact, but actually bring something to the table. So in some of our relationships in other communities, and Grand Rapids is a good example where we just were locally approved last week for a facility in Grand Rapids, we've struck a relationship with the NAACP and various branches to work with them on workforce development and apprenticeship programming in our particular location sites. We have a suggestion for the city that would be important for you all to consider. Because you have opted in for medical marijuana and don't have recreational, employment opportunities for persons with disqualifying felonies or misdemeanors are not allowable unless the individual business writes a request to the state for that person to be employed. But what we've done on behalf of our clients asking us to find ways to help expedite those opportunities on the medical side is worked with the state and the director and leadership team at the MRA, Marijuana Regulatory Agency, to see if there's an opportunity to create a blanket program where if persons who've had felony or misdemeanor disqualifying incidents could be able to be granted waivers in mass. And so their feedback in response to us is, well, what we would like to see is communities, municipalities partner with organizations like a NAACP or other groups to set up those type of programs in partnership with the licensees. And if people graduate from those programs, then we have in our statutory power the ability to grant blanket waivers. It's a way of kickstarting employment opportunity for those in the community who have been negatively impacted, not just by marijuana-related offenses, but other offenses in the war on drugs and other criminal activities that may have plagued them in their younger life, but as they strive to rebuild, we want to be a part of helping to change those paradigms and those outcomes. So that's something that we make as a suggestion and recommendation in this process of working with the city and working with not only other applicants who might be approved, but also with NAACP and working in a broader context, because this collaboration that gets us there. Just to tell you a little bit about some of the activities that we've done in other communities in conjunction with changing paradigms and bringing impacts. In the Detroit location that we have, we worked with and done an annual fundraiser each year as it relates to breast cancer and supported persons, victims of breast cancer who are recovering and helped them with expenses and other needs that they may have, because we know cancer, and me personally being a cancer survivor, know that it's difficult to recover, and sometimes the support of persons who are outside of your group or outside of your family can help you get through that traumatic issue. We've worked with and done programming for Thanksgiving to provide food and dinners for over 200 families per year in the area where we operate in Detroit. And then we've also worked in a Christmas drive for toys, as well as a family holiday party type of activity where we bring in the families and the kids, and there are activities for them to participate in and of course get their toys, but to help bring some positive light to the holiday season. In the city of Warren, where as a part of the overall partnerships that the owners have with groups in other cities, in the South Warren area, where you have a growing level of diversity, but also a growing lack of services, we've worked with and helped spearhead an initiative to bring back a library to the south end of Warren and provided initial seed funding to a capital drive to bring back a library to the south end, because just because the area is becoming more diverse and just because the area may have not the same economic prospects as the northern parts of Warren, education and knowledge are critical for that part of the city as well. Also, during the 2019 winter vortex, when it got extremely cold, worked with the city on providing support for housing for shelter days for persons so that they could extend the amount of shelter time for individuals that were homeless to be out of the cold air. And that's just some of the things. I'll shut it down so that you can have questions, because one thing that we do want to do is we want constant communication. We know that every community is unique, and we want to know and look forward to finding out, beginning the day and continuing forward, how to be a part of Benton Harbor and help see the greatness of this city, the strength and the opportunities realized within this community. So with that, we'll kind of close, because you have all of our details in our application. If you've got questions on that, we can answer. But also hopefully questions about the general goodwill of what this sector and industry can do for the city.
Chair recognizes First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. I just have a question about why you selected the city of Benton Harbor.
So that is a great question. There's a few things. One, Benton Harbor, proximity-wise, is close to Indiana and Illinois. So as the industry continues its expansion, the ability to attract and engage with potential out-of-state customers and being close enough so that you have that ability to service those individuals is critical. Two, the western side of the state right now has a limited number of communities that are allowing the commercial businesses to operate. So that's one issue, which though in this side of the state, you have roughly 42,000 people in the southwestern Michigan region, including Berrien County, who have medical marijuana cards and need servicing. But right now you have only 12 provisioning centers that are open in this whole region, 13 counties across southwestern Michigan. Benton Harbor has an opportunity to provide services, not just to the citizens, but to neighboring communities and people that are at need. So geographically, with Indiana and the geographical desert of commercial facilities in the area creates a unique opportunity to be of a value add and meet business goals at the same time.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you. It's very encouraging to hear about your involvement with NAACP and other community as far as racial equality. Want to know how much have you done with it? Have you done just starting, or have you fought for any kind of racial equity for with the company or the other companies you might have? Have you made it your business to hire a minority, or could you give us a little bit more of that? Because I know just speaking, sometimes we get a lot of content, and I just want to know how much you have done in that area. Appreciate that.
I totally understand that. So we are working with a couple of groups on teaming up with them to manufacture products. So we're working with a group out of Muskegon. That's one group we're working out of. And, you know, we're going through the details right now. But we are working on that. And our model is, yeah, we're getting into the manufacturing and processing side, but we like to also purchase our product from other people, other individuals. So that way we're not just carrying only our products. So you look at our location in Detroit, there's a link called Weed Maps, which kind of gives you all your menu and whatever you. So we have 2,900 reviews. Out of 5 stars, we have 4.8 because we value on us bringing in product that services everybody. And then we also, our main focus is customer loyalty, where, you know, we're giving the patients what they need and everything.
Thank you again, Chair. My question is, thank you for the product, 4 stars. That's a huge, tremendous rating. Give me a little bit more about people, bodies. What are you doing as far as the hiring of minorities? And I heard you say something about Muskegon. What's going on there? What kind of work are you doing there?
So we're opening up a provisioning center there, and we're working on it with the city right now. Just submit our plans and everything. But I'm going to give you the city of Detroit. So our security guards, our retired police officers within the city, our 70% of our workforce live in the city of Detroit. So we're hiring within, and we have, I don't know, maybe 40 staff members at that location. And you start small, right? You start with 10, then 15, then 20, comes up as this, but we hire within. So even with our security guards here, we look for, retired police officers, veterans, that we like to give those people jobs first because, they're experienced and, they know safety and whatever is needed. I also want to talk about one thing we did with one of the schools in one city. We went to the city and asked, what do you guys need? And they brought up the school. So we bought 40 iPads for the school. We spent over $10,000 with school supplies. So we don't mind doing that too. Whatever is needed for the schools is important. I got 5 kids. To me, my kids' education is more important than anything in this world. So just want to chime up on that too. So.
If I can add to that too, Mayor Pro Tem Seats. So getting to your question and some specific tangibles, the partnership with the NAACP is a newer partnership, and in working with them in cities and working with cities to do 2 things. One, take advantage of, in the medical marijuana side, MCL 333.27205, which is your governing statute that manages how municipalities can opt in. When opting in, you can codify in your ordinance, or you can go back and amend your ordinance to include goals for community investment, employment opportunity, and economic investment and development, and even ownership goals. That's something that we've worked with and gotten implemented in the city of Grand Rapids on behalf of our clients. They're working with other cities to do based on the needs of that particular city. Now, in working with, from a consulting vantage point, we work with businesses and groups that are committed to the hiring goals and providing those sorts of demonstrations of hiring individuals. As Jason has told us, as we've worked with them in other markets, and we've seen they hire African Americans, Latino Americans, people from the community in various positions, including management. They contract with companies of color because that's a big area too. One of the things that is in, say, the Grand Rapids program for voluntary economic development agreements is contracting goals. 24% of an applicant's procurement budget spending good and buying goods and services is with local businesses. Those are things that we work with our clients on, whether the city has those rules or not, to ensure that there's a higher level of demonstrated impact. And of course, in communicating and offering to those cities on behalf of our clients, ways that they can put those sorts of structures in their ordinance to not only have it apply to our clients, but also to apply to the greater industry to help do proof of concept and help adhere to minimum floor goals for outreach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I want to appreciate your tremendous content that you've given us. You've given us phenomenal information, one of the better presentations that I've seen, especially to say out front about the NAACP and not in the back. That's commendable. But I want to say this, and I want to say this kind of clear. Soup Kitchen is going to take care of itself. It's been taking care of itself for over 30 years. So every applicant that comes up talks about a soup kitchen and all that kind of stuff. That soup kitchen been serving soup for 30 years and has not stopped. And it's appreciative that what you're saying about giving people hand-ups and not handouts, and I can concur with that. I definitely know that time is of the essence. And again, common sense don't cost a quarter, so you give us a whole lot of common sense. And I appreciate that. It's the education that you've given all of us enough information to be able to make a positive decision. So you're not coming begging because you already have a foundation. I do appreciate that. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
If I can add one thing too, as a suggestion, because you're right. One thing to also think about are good neighbor plans in the ordinances or in the structure of what you're looking for applicants. Because what we've done in working in other communities is we've been able to find those organizations and programs that really need partnership. And it's not just writing a check. It's also manpower hours. It's volunteering. One organization that our clients are partnering with in Grand Rapids that we found is Our Kitchen Table. One of the things that Our Kitchen Table does is help lower income individuals in the southern half, the third ward, to grow their own food and to help them address healthy living and healthy lifestyle needs. One of the things that we're going to work with them on is the growers in the growing part of the operation are going to be a part of the educational training to help train residents on techniques of growing food better for themselves. So you're right. It's not just the soup kitchen. It's not just the Red Cross. It's not just the named organization, but it's finding those other organizations that need real support, not just a check. So getting feedback from you as leaders, getting feedback from citizens, getting feedback from the churches, from the school district, whether organizations are supportive or not of the industry, that real communication helps clients like ours who want to be good actors to know how they can be a part. They can't directly solve every issue, but they can find quality, quantitative items to work on that can produce quality, quantitative results.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the heart.